Hello, and welcome to A Little Wine, A Little Time. I'm Derek. A Little Wine and A Little Time is a new project of my company, Delicious Media. It's basically just me, my iPad, and a delicious glass of wine talking through some things, me talking through some issues. Most of the focus will be on politics through the lenses of media and online discussion. It's a pairing of topics and wine. So, over the last several years, I've spent a good amount of my time in discussion and debate with folks on the platform of Facebook mostly. A good amount of this project is going to be discussion and digestion of online political discourse and discussion, and maybe some random discussion from time to time as well. If you have anything you'd like to add, definitely feel free to discuss in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Delicious Media YouTube channel. And again, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Whether you agree or disagree with what I have to say, let's talk about it. If you find the content has value to you, you can kick me a few bucks via my Delicious Media Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal and help me grow my company. I would be very grateful. Links are available in the show notes. But okay, this episode's topic: online political discussion and discourse. While I discuss this topic, I'll be enjoying a delicious glass of Gentleman's Collection Cabernet Sauvignon, batch number 1, language please. Right here. It's open and breathing. We'll talk more about the wine and why I chose to pair it with this topic later in the episode. I'm going to go ahead and pour a little bit. Twist. Okay, so episode 2. Of course, social media is full of political discussion. It takes place on the Facebook walls of individuals, on media sites, and on political figures' Facebook pages. I'm personally in a bunch of political discussion groups. There are all kinds of these little online communities where left versus right duke it out over all kinds of issues. You run into some of the same people in different groups, but all the groups have a different host of characters. They all have their own dynamics. Some lean more left, some lean more right, some have younger folks, and some are full of boomers. These groups are where I search for answers to the problems in our politics and political discourse. To me, Facebook and other social media platforms are the possible answer to some of the problems and deep divides. It's a space where we can connect. It's a space where we can search for and find answers. It's a space where we can connect en masse with all sorts of fellow human beings with vast backgrounds, points of view, vantage points, and perspectives. I think it's important to understand what a point of view is, or what vantage points and perspectives are. Our point of view is what we are able to see from our vantage point. We all have our own vantage points that shape our perspective. We all have different lines of sight, and we all have blind spots. The best way to expand our perspective is to listen to people who have different vantage points and points from which they view. For example, I am not a doctor. To personally have a better, more quality perspective when it comes to, say, the topic of healthcare or medical issues, it's in one's best interest to listen and learn from those who may be medical professionals. Social media is a space where, if used correctly, we can improve our perspective by interacting and learning from those with different vantage points and points of view. It's a massive resource when it comes to that. It's also the main battlefield in the information war in the still fairly early stage of the information age we find ourselves in. It's fertile ground to burst the echo chamber bubbles. I'm sure many people believe there's too much political discussion on the platform of Facebook and find it to be a turnoff. I know many view political discussion as taboo. I have to disagree with that sentiment. From my vantage point, from spending several years engaging on the platform, I believe it to be a necessity. My main and overarching hypothesis is that we need more of it. I believe it's the lack of discussion that has groups of people that are deeply divided and basically live in alternate universes. I do understand why people avoid political discussion on the internet. It can be frustrating, mind numbing, disheartening, and even toxic. I get why some folks sit on the sidelines. But it is my belief after several years of engaging in this discussion, we need more discussion, not less. And we need some folks to come off the sidelines and engage. As far as numbers go, the vast majority of Facebook users are passive readers only, and very small percentage actually engage. There are several possible reasons for that. Maybe people are shy, or maybe people just find it too stressful. Some may even be scared of who they may run into online, and that there may be some danger in it. There are a lot of crazies out there. The fact that folks may fear engaging in political discourse to me is even more reason why we must. Fear of violence has no place in a political discourse, and we've got to push past that. We also have a level of apathy. We have people that likely see it as futile. We can't have apathy. We have to overcome apathy, and we can't be complacent. We are in too important of a moment. We have to get past apathy. We need to at least try. We have to see engagement in political discourse as our civic and patriotic duty. There is so much at stake. We need more folks to join the conversation. I feel like I'm saying we a lot, but teamwork makes the dream work. We the people, right? I can think of many people off the top of my head who could and should get engaged. They are smart, have strong opinions, and would make great arguments. Some of them used to engage in political discussion, but frustration led to apathy and they gave up on it. We need that to change and shift. We need as many folks as possible out fighting the good fight. We need to find and make the time. We need it to be more organized and deliberate. We need to help each other. We need to help each other with arguments, ideas, and communication to increase the chances of getting through to folks. We always need to be learning and improving our levels of communication. We need to inspire others to do the same. We need to push ourselves and push each other to be better. We need to help each other come to better understandings of topics and issues. We need to always be self-educating and educating each other. We need people with backgrounds in psychology, science, history, healthcare, economics, etc., etc., etc. We need people that can unravel misconceptions and wild conspiracy theories. We need to be well studied on issues and keep ourselves up to date on a host of topics and issues. We need to always be learning and growing and improving our debate skills to have any chance of getting through to people. We need to take the fight to areas of the internet where folks can be reached. We have folks that are bubbled and only consume narrow bands and brands of media. We need to take the conversation to the Facebook walls of media sites and the walls of political figures. We need to reach people where they are. Facebook is maybe the best platform for discussion. On Facebook, you can post links to articles and videos on comment threads, for example, like you can't on, say, Instagram. But we need to also take things to places like TikTok and to reach younger people, in places like Truth Social, where there are folks that need to be reached. The belly of the beast. We need to go there. And that's where the rubber meets the road. We are in something like the terrible twos of the information age. The internet battlefield is where we have the potential to make progress. It's our world's current public square. We need to use the space to speak out, speak up, and hopefully in time make some real progress. We have to find and help folks that seem to be lost in the sauce. I mean, especially a lot of boomers. Think about it. Boomers grew up with 3 news channels and a newspaper. Now they have access to every bad idea and conspiracy theory under the sun. So many of them are lost in the sauce. Not all, but so many. I believe the next generation will be fine if we can get them there and if we survive this moment with an intact democracy. They grew up with social media, and knowing a lot of young folks personally, I believe they have a good grasp on things and are very bright. Not all, but so many. I have a lot of faith in them. I do worry about some younger folks that get all their information via TikTok, and we need to make sure there's as much good information on that platform as possible. But boomers got exposed late in life to the internet, and their brains weren't built and conditioned to it. We need to reach them and help them. Not to mention cable news like Fox that has had such a negative effect on the minds of so many. We need to teach folks about Roger Ailes and what he did to the media, the politics and political discourse of this country. I definitely I'll definitely be covering Roger Ailes and Fox more in the future. Right now Fox News is talking about a conspiracy theory where Taylor Swift is controlled by the military or the Defense Department or government or something like that. It's just Fox News mainstream talking about a conspiracy. It's just wild, and millions of people watch this. It's a story that has to be told and understood. Roger Ailes created a media platform that on its face is a lie. It attacks so-called mainstream media while it's self being incredibly mainstream. Its tagline is fair and balanced when it was literally created to be the opposite of that. But yeah, we need more engagement. Lots of it. We need people to come off the sidelines and join the fight. We need people to overcome apathy. I need a sip of wine. That's really delicious. Indeed. Mm. All right. Yeah, we need people to overcome apathy. We all need to put in effort and work. We have the amazing right of freedom of speech and we need to use it. We have a responsibility to use it. We're seeing the rise of fascism in the MAGA movement in this country, and we've got to combat it anywhere and everywhere. We are hearing Trump more and more echo language and rhetoric of the worst dictator of all time, Adolf Hitler, literally, pretty much verbatim at times. We've got to get this through to people who maybe don't understand this language or know the history. We've got to reach people and pull them back. We have no other choice, really. Facebook and other social media platforms are the battlefield of the information age. Consider this a call to action to all the apathetic. If you know someone who is apathetic that you think could help the cause, please share this with them. Encourage, even plead with them to join the fight. And step it up yourself if you can. Spend as much time as you have on it. I'm not asking you to do anything I'm not doing either. I'm stepping it up. This podcast is just part of me stepping it up. I will continue to engage online whenever I have the time. I'm going to keep speaking, keep asking questions, and keep searching for answers. That's what we have to do. Question people. Make folks reason things out. Attempt to force rational thought. Keep pushing. So the night Trump was elected, I didn't sleep, and I had good reason. Look how his presidency ended. It ended with an attempted coup and a conspiracy to overthrow an election and democracy. That morning after the election, I wrote a long Facebook post about how I felt complacent. I swore I'd never be complacent again, and I've kept that promise to myself. Sure, I voted, but I didn't speak out enough. Never again. Voting is important, no doubt, but we've got to use our voices in our speech. We've got to raise our voices. We've got to get loud and shout about it. Please join me in shouting about it. Consider this a call to action, a call to use your voice, step off the sidelines if you're currently there, and keep fighting the good fight if you have been. So yes, step it up. No, it isn't always easy, but it has to be done. It can be frustrating. It involves tons of notifications with people responding and reacting. We'll talk more about laugh reacts in the future. It's something I'm very intrigued by. If you engage, you'll often find your notifications full of laugh react after laugh react. It's a wild phenomenon. It can be very annoying, it can be frustrating, mind numbing, disheartening, etc. All the notifications can be a lot on our dopamine. So don't forget to take care of your mental health too. But it has to be done. It's our responsibility, it's our duty. I need a sip of wine. That's really delicious. So that's that. This episode and episode one both kind of lay the foundation for what this podcast will be about and an overview of online political discourse. All episodes going forward will be more topic and issue specific. I hope you subscribe and check them out. But now let's get ready to talk about this wine after this quick message. If you're watching and listening to this one, I will already have released at least a few other episodes. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you find my content has some value, you can kick me a few bucks via my Delicious Media Cash App, PayPal, and Venmo. Links are below in the show notes. It's kind of a crowdfunding type deal until I come up with some ideas for a Patreon. But now let's talk about this wine I'm enjoying. A little swirl. See if it's got some very nice legs. I don't know if you can see that. So I paired this episode with Lindemans Gentleman's Collection 2020 Cabernet Sauvignon, batch number 1, rule number 1. Language, please. It's 100% Cab Sauv. According to the fantastic wine app Vivino, this wine is bold, a little tannic, and on the dry side. It adds notes of chocolate, oak, and vanilla, blackberry and plum, cherry and raspberry. It pairs well with beef, lamb, poultry, and lasagna a la bolognese. I love a bolognese. They seem to be a quality company too. If you check out their website, you can read about their sustainability. They're a certified carbon neutral company, so that's pretty cool. So why did I pair this wine with this episode about political discussion and discourse? It's the Gentleman's Collection, batch number 1, rule number 1, language, please. That's kind of the heart and core of this conversation. Whenever possible in political discourse, we need to be gentlemen and gentlewomen. We've got to use our language well. We've got to humanize. Our politics can be dehumanizing, and we've got to reverse engineer that whenever and however we can. We can elevate our political discourse and make it what it should be. Not people on opposing sides who see each other as enemies, but fellow human beings engaging in debate to solve problems and make the country and the world a better place. So many of our problems seem to come down to language. We currently have a front runner for president who is literally echoing the rhetoric and language of Adolf Hitler. We need to understand that language and the danger in it, and use our language and speech to push back against it. It's hard to stay a gentleman sometimes in political discussion. You run into people who live for nothing else than to own the libs. That's why they live and breathe, and they repeat a lot of toxic rhetoric they get from Trump and toxic media. And look, sometimes you've got to get down and dirty and meet people at their level. I'll probably talk more about this in future episodes and give some examples. People will call you names. They will assume things about you based on their preconceived notions about the snowflake, socialist, communist, Marxist, radical left, Antifa, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you've got to push back and push back hard. Try and see the other person as a fellow human being who may be completely lost and maybe needs to be educated and put in their place. Don't be a snowflake. But whenever possible, be human and do your best to get the person you're engaging with to be human. There are tons of topics to discuss and sort through, but at the core of everything, we have to humanize. That's the overarching goal. The bottle has a quote on the bottom. I don't think you can read it. It's pretty small. But the quote says, "A gentleman can make perfectly emphatic point without the use of profane language." This is not to say that he is not versed in profanity. but he frequently has something better to say. End quote. I use profanity from time to time in verbal conversation, but I rarely use it in online political discourse. I try to be respectful. I do often match respect levels. If I'm getting dished at me, I will definitely dish it back. I'm a mirror sometimes. I reflect who I am talking to back to them. It's often overlooked and over heads, but oh well. As I get as I get deeper into this podcast, I'll give specific examples. I will always be engaging and I will tell the story as I continue. I will be doing an episode on some of the wildest conversations I've had so far on the internet, and I can all but guarantee I'll have some more. But for now, I think I'll wrap this up. Whenever possible, be a gentleman and a gentlewoman. Take the high ground. In battle or in conversation, always seek the high ground. I think that's a good place to end. Thanks for joining me for this episode, too. I hope you check out other episodes and discussions. That's all for now. Until next time, be well, stay well, peace, love, and delicious wine. Cheers. Delicious.